So, why are we taking this solar system walk? Well, a lot of it goes back to kindergarten when we would see this kind of image on the classroom wall. And this image does a lot of good things. You see the sun and the planets and their names, and for a lot of students, this is just their introduction. But we can definitely go further than that. And as you get older, you'll sometimes see these orbital tracks that they'll show of the planets. And this model breaks down the planets into the inner planets and the outer planets. And so that's helpful. The names of the planets are now listed. And then other models like this one show the asteroid belt and comets being introduced. And then we start to get into the classic kind of elementary school image. Um, the planets are kind of squished together. Do you notice that? In these images, we see the racetrack and they're all lined up in order, but in fact, they're almost really never in order like that. And so the big problem that we have here is about the scale, the size scale, and the distance scale for these objects. I mean, sometimes the pictures look like the planets are stacked up on top of each other, like a family picture with their arms around one another, when in fact it's anything but that. And again, the scale, the size. In this image, the Earth is way too big compared to Jupiter and Saturn. What is a good image, at least what I found, was this one. And this does a good job of showing the relative sizes. We can see how big the sun is on the side, and the gas giants are much bigger than those inner rocky planets, including Earth. So look at Earth, the third planet from the sun. See how big it is? Bigger than Saturn, even. Now, this is what we're talking about. Those are the correct sizes. But this thing, Earth bigger than the ringed planet Saturn, doesn't make any sense. So let's go ahead and get started with our tour. I'm hoping in this that you can get a sense for the relative size and distances of the sun and the planets. This scale model is the closest you may ever come to actually having a real sense of what are the sizes of the planets and how far away they are. So here I am outside S1, and up here, that's our sun. So there is our sun. It's about that big, maybe as wide as my four fingers. All right, so now we gotta find our first planet. The first four planets are the rocky planets. That's from the sun, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So we're gonna travel this way and find those planets and see how big they are. Now, normally I would ask my students to guess how many steps it will take to get to the first planet from the image of the sun there on the classroom door. How many steps to get to Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars? How many regular walking paces or steps? If you have a piece of scratch paper, chart it out. What about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune? Make a prediction. How far will they be before we get started? My count, but we're going to start going over. And where would Mercury be? Oh, there it is, Mercury. And where's my finger? There's my finger, and Mercury is that little dot that my camera cannot focus on. Just that little dot right there. So the sun was over there on that circle, and here is Mercury. Then you might see the little M underneath. Okay, time to continue. We're on our way to Venus. So we walk along, we look around, and our other door right here. And there's Venus. It's larger than Mercury, but it's still really just a dot, a pencil point. The first one, Mercury, was really like the size of the smallest dot you could make with your pencil, just the lightest dot. And this pole also has a Venus on it. You can see the V underneath. All right, on our way to Earth, and just a few more steps. Here is your home planet with some graffiti. Again, smaller than my gloved finger. Maybe I should have a pencil or something for comparison. Okay, and then we're on our way to Mars if Mars is still up. And here is Mars. And here's my pencil. That's the size of Mars, and if we look back, we've got Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury in the space, with the sun being about the size of a tennis ball back there by the door. All right, well, we've covered the rocky planets, but now we have to get to the gas giants. So I guess we keep walking this way. And what's the next one? You know, come on. What's the name of the next one? Okay, we got Jupiter coming up, the largest of all planets. Where is it? Where is it? And unfortunately, we've run out of room. So looking back, we're gonna have to bend our map a little bit, and we're gonna go down the hallway here. So, Jupiter's gotta be here somewhere, but you might already be noticing that the distance is a lot farther to get out to Jupiter. And there she is, Jupiter. Focus. There we go. With the famous red dot. I know it's not red, but you get the idea. Jupiter. This far away. Okay, for Saturn, I guess we just kind of keep rolling here. Now, normally the whole class would be out together. We'd have a lead counter and two of their buddies who are double checking their counting steps. And we come down here past Larry's office. Nope, keep going. All right, keep going. Oh, here it is, Saturn. And also one drawn over here. Compared to that tennis ball, way back down there. Okay, that's Saturn. We've got two left. That's Uranus and Neptune. Keep going, and we got a gate. And unfortunately, it's locked, so we're gonna play it like this. We would have to go out to this corner right here, right by the gym. This corner, all the way, just right on that corner. And Uranus would be the size of a peppercorn. That's a pepper seed before it gets ground up. Okay, the size of a peppercorn, about that big. There's my finger. And then the last one, Neptune. For Neptune, we would have to go all the way out to the bleachers, out there. And there's a tree, and it's not the one with all the ivy crawling all over it, it's the next one. It's in the center of my frame right now. And on that tree is drawn a small circle that is also the size of a peppercorn. So that size, again, for Uranus out in the corner of the gym, right on the edge of the corner, very corner. And for Neptune all the way out by that tree. And the last. So there it is, our walking tour of the solar system here at Bohanna Middle School in San Lorenzo. March 19th, at the kind of starting phase, middle phase, end phase, I don't know, of the coronavirus. Thank you for coming along. Hopefully that did give you a different sense of the size and distances of the planets. A lot of times when we see these planets, they're drawn in a picture where it seems like they're all stacked together, they're all best buddies hugging each other with their arms around each other in close proximity. It ain't the case. So these are the sizes of the planets as we saw them on the walls here on campus today. And so they are to scale for size, but They are not to scale for distance. And the only way we could do that was by setting up this model starting at the science classroom and going all the way out to the other side of the field. But you can see the difficulty then in presenting this, because if you wanted to show this in a book, you'd need a book with a fold out section that would reach from the classroom all the way out to that tree, and that's just not feasible. So that's what makes it really difficult to understand the sizes and distances of the planets in a reduced size or shrunken size model. Most of my students are surprised at how tiny the planets are, especially these first ones that we saw. You'll remember that we started here. There's our sun, about the size of a tennis ball, a little bigger actually, more like, I don't know, not smaller than a softball, maybe the size of like a major league, a regular baseball. But this part here, especially these 4 rocky planets, they're kind of squished together compared to the others, right? And they're really small compared to the sun. I have my students preview and write normally the size they think these planets would be, just guessing, making a prediction, and it's almost always really bigger. And the distances they think it will be are almost always much shorter. And most students are surprised when they find that Neptune was all the way out by that tree. So, hope you enjoy, and chances are you won't see the solar system quite like this again. And if you want a shot of our lab, just because you're feeling homesick, here we are as I grab materials for the rest of the year. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Stay connected, stay in touch. Talk to you later.